Welcome! My name is Boris Kirchner. Today, let's talk about emotional regulation, emotional mastery, and the peace that passes understanding. First of all, today, as I'm recording this video, I have hiccups. I was trying different things to let go of the hiccups, but the hiccups wanted to be here with you, and so I want to just include them in our experience because so much of the time we are fighting against what is. We are fighting against the circumstances of our life. Maybe we have a pimple, maybe we have the hiccups, maybe something is not working out our way. We don't feel like a certain way. And we begin to fight. We begin to fight against ourselves. We begin to fight against reality. We begin to push against life as it is. What's the result? The result is a total loss of peace. The result is emotional turmoil and suffering. Why? Because we haven't yet learned to regulate our emotions. We haven't yet learned to master our mind, to use our mind skillfully. You see, so much of the time we simply identify with our mind as if it's the same thing as us. Actually, no, because when you do this, you lose all sense of choice. The thoughts that come into your mind, you assume that you have thought them, you assume that they're true, and here is where we lose our peace. Here is where we lose our ability to feel powerful within our bodies, our ability to feel happy within our mind, our ability to just feel like, boom, we belong here. We can handle this. So, what is it that accounts for this emotional mastery, emotional choice? Do we have a choice in the way that we feel? My proposition to you is yes, unequivocally, we have choice. But it's not the kind of choice that you would imagine. Because typically when we think of choice, we think of, oh, there's a button here and there's a button here. I can go left, I can go right. I can turn the steering wheel this way or that way. I can turn my body this way or that way. Those are our choices. But because emotions are invisible, because they are not as material, as grossly material as is matter, we need to take a different approach. We have to understand the subtlety of the invisible realm. What invisible realm? The mental realm. This realm where you have your thoughts. This realm where you have your feelings and the emotions that vibrate, resonate through your body. How do they come about? They actually come about based on the narrative, the story that we are telling ourselves moment to moment to moment. Story primarily around this: who we are, what is happening to us, what the world is and who the world is and what the world is like and what is happening there, and who the other is. The other could be whoever's in front of you, or them, who they are, and what their motives are and what they're doing. And what is the relationship between all these? This is a narrative that we continuously feed through our thoughts, through our belief, okay? Through our feeling into that narrative. Example, think about when you were a kid or when you last saw a toddler, a young child, somebody who's moving around in the world and they seem to be totally divorced from reality. But actually they're much closer to reality. What they're doing, if you watch them, is they're telling themselves a story about what's happening. It's called the make-believe world, right? But they're telling themselves, essentially, here I am an astronaut, I am on the moon, I just found the moon rock. And this narrative, they imbue with belief, which then produces an experience of felt sense. Like imagine feeling a basketball in your hand. Here it is. You're holding it in your hands. Feel the bumps, feel the grooves, feel what the basketball feels like, that rubbery feeling. The more we enter into this state, We can even begin to smell it, because our storyline, our narrative, my narrative right now, that I'm holding a basketball, that here it is, it's in my hands, imbued with belief, allows us to create a felt sense. The senses become activated even though there is nothing in the sensual field. It is actually all in imagination. So as you watch that kid walk around on the surface of the moon, even though they're walking around in your backyard, you can see the power of belief at work, the power of narrative at work. Guess what? Each moment of every day, right now, today, you are telling yourself a story about who you are and what is happening to you and where you are and what is your relationship to all that is. That story, how much time have you taken to examine what that story is about? My suggestion to you is that all of your senses of fear, all of your senses of emotional turmoil, all your senses of dissatisfaction, of feeling conflict, of feeling like you don't belong here, of feeling like you are in danger, all of that, all of those felt, senses, they come out of that narrative that is unconscious until we make it conscious. My call to you in this conversation that we're having is to begin to recognize what stories you're telling yourself about the world, about yourself. Because look, I can tell myself any kind of story. I'm going to give you 2 stories to illustrate this example before we finish. Story number 1. I am in a lockdown. I am under house arrest. I can't travel. I can't go where I want. I am limited in every way. I'm concerned there may not be food. What if the food supplies run out? What if the food chains become interrupted? I am so concerned that there's all of this right-wing, left-wing extremism that's happening. I am afraid for my safety. What if they come in with mandatory vaccines? What if they force me to do things that I don't want to do? That's one way of thinking. Guess what? If that's not you, amazing. Good for you. There are people who are living their lives moment to moment for minutes, hours, or days, or months at a time, living their lives in this narrative, in this box. What's happening to them? Thoughts create emotions. Your emotions signal the body to produce peptides called hormones, stress hormones. Stress hormones flood the body, shut down the immune system, shut down your ability of higher reasoning, higher thinking, executive decision making. You become like a lobotomized, like an immature, lobotomized, regressed version of yourself in the moment that you subject yourself to chronic stress, to chronic worry, to chronic believing in conflicting fear-based narratives about what is happening to you in the world. One side. Let's try the other side. Let's try, what if we're going to come up with a new narrative? What if just sitting right here where I am, not changing anything about the world, I tell myself a different story about what's happening. Here I am. I have all the time that I need to create those things that I've been longing to create, to do those things that I've been longing to do, those projects, those investments in myself, that personal development that I was excited to pursue, those books that I wanted to read. Wow, I have the time and space to be able to really go within, to really nurture myself of my sense of self-love, my sense of self-mastery, my sense of learning about relationships and how I can serve in the world. I have been given a gift, a pause from the busy of life, and now I have this opportunity to truly serve myself and others. I feel blessed to be here. I feel grateful for this opportunity. I know things are in turmoil right now, but I believe that since I don't really know how they will turn out, I choose to believe, and I see evidence for this, that it's getting better and better. That things are evolving, that our consciousness of our planet is evolving. We're starting to find those things that are incongruent with our own integrity as a culture, as a society, as a civilization on this planet, we are leading ourselves out of ignorance, out of the darkness of that unenlightened state of consciousness, the egoic veil that has been over the population of humanity, population of the earth for so long. We are awakening. Okay, so that's my narrative. That's the narrative that I choose as I'm sitting here in the same kind of situation as many of you. Many of us are very similarly sitting in various conditions. What story are you telling yourself? Choose the story consciously. Take control of the steering wheel of your mind. In our later conversations, I'm going to show you step by step, thought by thought, what to do in order to change the way that your mind narrates, tells itself a story about what is happening so that you can experience the peace that passes understanding. Because what does that mean? That simply means that everybody else is looking at you. They see the situations, they see appearances, excuse me, they see those appearances, they see and they make their judgment based on appearances, not on vision. And where there is no vision, people perish. And the reason that they perish is because they think that this is all there is. That I must accept this, I must feel bad about it, I must feel limited. But you now know that you can tell yourself a different story. You can tell a story of hope, of possibility, of enlightenment, of excitement, even in the midst of the darkest place. Because you do not know with 100% certainty, you don't absolutely know what that next moment may be. Why not tell a story, tell a vision about that next moment that is inspiring, that is uplifting, that is energizing, that is empowering? Turn off the television, tell your vision. Let it resonate in your heart, let it resonate in your mind, and let it resonate throughout your community, throughout the people beside you. Lift them up. They may not know that they can tell their own vision. They may not know that they have a choice. They may feel like they have to listen to the vision that is told to them. So, help them. Don't let them suffer. Share with them a possibility. Don't drag them along, but share with them a possibility of how to embrace this moment, how to tell a new story about those things that are maybe not going right, not going the way you want. But in the next moment, all that may change. I hope this has served you. I'm looking forward to speaking with you again soon. Take great